fan on your house.
You see that safe door?
Bill, you ready?
You can make it into my water.
You guys ready?
We've already gone nose to nose.
If you don't know what's coming out, be loud.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming tonight. Sorry we were a little late. Meeting ran over a little bit. If I could, I'd like to open up tonight Board of Works for October 15th, 2018 with a roll call, please.
Board Member Paul Seymour Jr.
Here.
Board Member Alan Calloway.
Here.
Assistant Police Chief David Schneider.
Here.
Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine.
Here.
EMS Director Bobby Mills. City Attorney Del Weldon.
Here.
Utility Director Olin Clausen.
Present.
President Kelly Milan.
Here.
And myself.
Okay. Any announcements? I have none for this meeting. If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Committee reports, Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine.
Oh, I'd just bring up a reminder from the last meeting that we started fire prevention for Lawrenceburg Community Schools this week due to fall break. So they went through the second grade today. We got first grade tomorrow, and kindergarten Wednesday, and then a convocation at Central Thursday. And also we started our confined space rescue course Friday. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Assistant Police Chief David Schneider.
Thank you, Your Honor, Board. I don't really have a whole lot tonight. We have been discussing with Judge Johns and the City Court how to make his area more secure, like when he has trial in there and whatnot, when he holds court in there, and making the building, the front vestibule of the building, overall a little bit more secure for the sake of City Court resting in the police department.
Okay. EMS Director Bobby Mills.
No, Mayor, the run total for September is $197. Also, I'm in the process of replacing all the pads.
Okay. Good. All right.
That's all I have.
All right, thank you. I have no new business tonight unless any of you up here have anything. Under old business, Mr. Clark, I think we missed one on the agenda, but it was the crack seal bid we had to open tonight.
Yes, Your Honor. We had 3 contractors sign out packets and 3 quotes turned in. The first one is from Kent Incorporated. Let's see here. And their quote is for $4 per pound in place, and that's a maximum not to exceed $50,000. The next quote is from Paul H. Rowe Company. Their quote is for $3.10 a pound. And the third and final quote's from Dave O'Mara. And their quote is for $3.90 a pound. That being said, I would recommend that the board award this to Paul H. Rowe Company for $3.10 a pound.
That's not to exceed 50?
And not to exceed 50, correct.
Any questions up here?
No.
Were all three of those bids not to exceed 50,000?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Motion on the floor is to accept the bid from Paul H. Rowe Company for $3.10 a pound for the crack seal project, not to exceed $50,000. Second?
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I have no additional old business in the Board of Works meeting.
I got one question.
Got it.
Quick.
What do you got?
Are we working together with utilities and Civil City to get all streets patched and any gravel ditches that we have? I know we got some on Martin Luther King and I don't know all the spots.
We've got a pretty good list, and they're assuring us they're going to try to get us before the snow flies, but,
Okay.
and we are working with Olin, and
Okay. All right.
I'm sure you probably got an updated list, Olin.
Yeah, I've got one here. I've got to go and talk to Mike and Andy and see which is water, sewer, which is electric. So, I signed it for Vicky to pay today.
Better hurry. So it was snowing in West Lafayette last Saturday.
And we did meet with the contractor today about the patching around the Civic Park too. That's actually set up for that the first week of November.
Okay. Great.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the claims.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
And second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Utility Board, as soon as we're seated. I'm sorry? Oh, I think.
She did. For council, right? Yeah, Edenburg property, yeah. Edenburg property. Yeah, that's fine.
Remind me when. Okay. That's not an advance payment.
Yeah, it's just additional to the claim.
Edenburg, 1,500. All right, I'd like to call to order the Lawrenceburg Utility Board meeting for October 15th, 2018. Roll call, please.
Board Member Tony Abbott. Here. Board Member Aaron Cook. Here. Board Member Mel Davis. Here. Board Member Randy Abner. Here. Board Member Paul Seymour Jr. Here. City Attorney Dell Weldon. Here. Utility Director Olin Clausen.
Present.
President Kelly Milan.
Here.
And myself.
Okay. Announcements?
None, Your Honor.
If no announcements, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Committee reports?
We are working on I met again today with Cindy Fort and Herschel from Crow Horwath. We've got a developer who has purchased some acreage back in the Scenic Drive, where Scenic Drive comes down and meets Wilson Creek. They're going to be submitting their drawings to the county for a change of use on the property. That individual is then going to come back in and talk with this board about voluntary annexation. If that occurs, I'd like to sit down with the Utility Service Board. We probably need to have a work session sometime in the future to talk about the development of a water and sewer budget that would be reflective of a couple things that Council or Utility Service Board has talked about having in there, as well as what these future projects might look like. It might be appropriate at that time to talk about potential ways of bonding those projects as well, or what avenues we would use to help develop those projects.
Okay. Any kind of timing on that, you said?
Really, it's the developer and when he would make that request to this body.
Okay.
I don't know when he's scheduled. I think it's in the month of November that will be coming through the county. And so I'd say sometime after that, he potentially could be in here. Jeff Talkers is who's working with him.
Okay, Jeff.
So, yep. Mm-hmm.
All right.
On other news, we should be hooking up our first fiber optic customer this week. I think we're very close to that. Moose, you want to give an update?
So as far as the fiber optics is concerned, right now we should be finishing up the backbone this week. Once the contractor is complete with that, we will go ahead and do our assessment and make sure that any issues or problems are resolved. And once the fiber backbone's done, which as I said will be this week, it will take them approximately 5 weeks to finish all the splicing. And with respect to the data center, that's 90% done. Now we still have some training to do on the fire suppression, through the generator training and the UPS. There is some work on the outer area, basically the premise outside the building where they're currently doing some construction there. As far as actual fiber to the home and the customers, now that the backbone's just about complete, we can go ahead and start building the laterals for not only the fiber to the home, but the fiber to the business. And we'll be starting that this week. And I've actually submitted requests for quotes from several of the large manufacturers that make fiber optic cable, as well as the support the poles. And I'm just waiting for them to get some quotes back so we can get some pricing on that and see what's the best option for us as far as getting the materials. On another note, I have received several quotes for the electronics, and all the city electronics are here, but the actual PON equipment, which is PON stands for Passive Optical Networks, and I'm getting some quotes for those so that we can get those on order. So once that the construction is complete, then we're not waiting around, because a lot of the PON equipment has 6 to 8 week lead times on those.
And one of the things, if you recall, we had a bid opening here was for $1.9 million for that secondary piece. We've committed to doing that in-house, and so we're well underway doing that ourselves. So we won't be spending that with an outside contractor to do. The price wasn't appropriate. I think it was reflective of how busy people are in the industry. So people are basically throwing numbers at us that if they get the job, great, but they basically have work. So we have refocused and kind of reallocated the workforce to start doing that in-house. So,
and correct me if I'm wrong, the fiber to the houses will be underground, correct?
If you have an existing overhead service, it'll be overhead.
Okay.
If it's an underground neighborhood, it will be underground.
Got you. Okay.
Any other questions?
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
You took a bid and you thought it was too high, and that's the work that they would have done is the work that some of our guys are going to be doing now that we made our past agreement, what, 2-3 weeks ago or longer. That's why we did that.
That's correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other committee reports? All right, new business?
I don't have any.
I have some. After speaking to several city employees, I want to make a motion to put our superintendent, Olin, on administrative leave and bring in an outside investigator to investigate all these things that have been told to me because he is creating a hostile work environment. He has cussed out employees in front of our customers. And there's more, but I don't want to go into it in a public meeting. But I think that's enough. With a hostile work environment, that's going to fall back on this board. I think we need to bring somebody in to look into it. So I make the motion to do that.
I mean, I would like to talk to the employees that this happened in front of, I guess. I mean,
They have talked to you before, some of them have, Aaron.
I've never had anybody say that he's cussed them. I haven't.
One of the fairgrounds didn't?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I'm sure you've heard
Just
of
what
it.
you told me, yeah.
Yeah, all right.
I mean, I don't have a problem having a special meeting with the employees that it's happening from, especially if it's in front of customers, but none of them's contacted me. I don't know if they have you guys or not.
Talked to a few that we've had issues with. I hired a boss to be a boss.
I've hired boss to be a boss too, but not to treat people like a piece of dirt. That's not the way you do things. Now, I've made a motion. I need a second from somebody. And if you want to ask somebody, ask our clerk treasurer how he was treated. Ask him to show his text to you from Olin. And that'll give you the whole idea, guys. And Aaron, I asked you to do that
Today.
before this meeting, yeah.
Yeah, today. I mean, I worked until 3 and had to be here at 4.
Well, I need somebody to step up.
I'll
right,
I'll go ahead and make his second. Go ahead and
Okay.
continue on. Let's see what's going on there.
There's a motion on the floor and a second by Randy. And to rephrase the motion is to put
Superintendent,
superintendent of utilities on paid administrative leave until
we can bring in an outside investigator to look into it. And there's other reasons too, but I don't want to go into all those in a public meeting.
so we got a
But it's
motion.
for the hostile work environment right now. Our clerks are scared to come into work.
Okay, motion and a second on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Roll call?
Board Member Tony Abbott.
Aye.
Board Member Aaron Cook.
No.
Board Member Mel Davis.
No.
Board Member Randy Abner.
Aye.
Board Member Paul Seymour Jr.
No.
I'll make a new motion, Mayor, if you allow me to.
So that motion fails, 2-3. You got a motion there?
Yeah, just basically, I'd make a motion to set up a meeting with the employees that Randy and Tony have spoken to hear what's happened.
We can do that. Second?
I'll second that motion. That's something we're moving forward on.
Yeah. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Roll call?
Board Member Tony Abbott.
Aye.
Board Member Aaron Cook.
Yes.
Board Member Mel Davis.
Yes.
Board Member Randy Abner.
Yes.
Board Member Paul Seymour Jr.
No.
That motion will pass 4-1.
Then one thing I would ask Mayor is make it as soon as possible so these people cannot be intimidated.
Will do. All right. Any other new business?
No, Your Honor.
Old business?
None, Your Honor.
One thing I got, Owen, is the Pribble Road lights, street lights. Any idea on ETA or completion?
I can let you know first thing in the morning.
All right. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the claims. Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will pass. I'd like to call to order the Lawrenceburg City Council meeting for October 15th, 2018. All rise for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Mr. Richardson, can we get a roll call, please?
Councilperson Tony Abbott. Here. Councilperson Aaron Cook. Here. Councilperson Mel Davis. Here. Councilperson Randy Abner. Here. Councilperson Paul Seymour Jr. Here. Assistant Police Chief David Schneider.
Here.
Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine. Here. EMS Director Bobby Mills. City Attorney Del Weldon.
Here.
Utility Director Olin Clausen.
Present.
Mayor Kelly Milan. Here. And myself.
All right. Okay, announcements, board reports, streets, alleys, and curbs. Mr. Cook?
No report, Mayor.
All right, sir. Finance, Mr. Abbott?
It's all good.
All right. Parks and Playgrounds, Mr. Seymour?
I think everything's looked pretty good.
I'd like to add something on that Parks and Playgrounds, if you would. I was up at a Pee Wee football game last week, and the life squad had to be called. And behind the concession stand, there's a blacktop area where the life squad could pull up to get to the field. Well, there's 3 cars parked there. I guess they're the workers at the concession area. I don't mind them unloading things there, but we need to put a no parking there or something up for life squad when it comes there. This guy fell down the steps, he was passed out, and they had to take the gurney over the ditch and up the hill through the grass and mud and everything to get to him. So if we can put no parking behind the concession stand, Pee Wee football.
Right behind the concessions up there?
Yeah.
Wow. You heard if the guy's okay?
Yeah, he's all right. He had low blood sugar, and he fell down the steps.
All right. Okay. Anything else under Parks and Playgrounds? Fire, Randy Abner?
Chief Tremaine told me that the firemen are working, servicing their ladders, getting ready for winter, I guess. You're doing your fire prevention stuff. Yep. Servicing those ladders are a big thing. Takes a good while to get those big ladder trucks in there and service all those ladders and stuff. So, all I got.
Okay. I have no other announcements this evening. Anyone have any other announcements besides the rules? If not, I'll entertain a motion. Go ahead.
I might have something. I don't know if this is the appropriate spot to bring this up. The Historical Society is asking for permission to use the Boy Scout cabin on November the 24th and the 25th. They're having a light-up ceremony of some kind, and they want to have Santa Claus over there. They anticipate a line. They're going to have this at the Angevine cabin, or Angvine, however you pronounce it, but they're going to have that at the cabin. They want to use the Boy Scout cabin as a holding room for the kids if it's too cold. Boy Scouts aren't using it on those dates, so I was wondering if I could get a motion for the Historical Society to be able to use the Boy Scout cabin on November the 24th and 25th.
Get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry.
Are you going to charge them anything?
And now, and Richard's playing Santa.
You can play Santa.
Well, I've got the stomach for it, so I'll probably do that.
Is there normally a fee?
You're losing that, buddy.
We do have a nonprofit fee, and then $100 for the deposit, which is given back to them. But
You're saying we could vote to waive it if we wanted to?
I'll make a motion, we waive the fees for that.
Second.
Got a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Any other announcements? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting from October 1st. Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Committee reports. Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine.
No report,
Assistant Police Chief David Schneider.
Thank you, Your Honor, Council. We have the drug take back on October the 27th. This is being done by the DEA. If you remember, not too long ago, the Attorney General's office came down and did this in the area of Kroger's. Went over really well, so I want to make you all aware of that. Also, if you all can reference your council packets, there's a letter in there from the CAC, which is the Children's Advocacy Center of Southeastern Indiana. as many of you know, I was assigned there for several years where I worked child abuse, child neglect cases. And if you've had a chance to read that letter, I just want to let each and every one of you know that I support them.
Okay. Is that it? Thank you. EMS Director Bobby Mills? Okay. All right. Under new business, every month we're going to get an update on the new park. Got Maxwell Construction here. Alyssa, give us an update.
Thank you, Mayor. Alyssa Ruhlman, Maxwell Construction. Just wanted to give you guys an update on the Lawrenceburg Civic Park. So far, it's all going really well. We are ready for the bid for Phase 4 for the splash park, splash pad portion. In general, the project is on track with budget and with schedule. As long as the weather continues to be kind, then our schedule will be okay. The LMU work outside of the park coming toward us is wrapping up, and that's a good thing. And then on the south end, if you drive past the park, you'll see the restroom building is going up there. They're putting the brick up there, started that this morning, so you start to see some color there. And then the stage concrete is complete and will be ready for the stone fabrication. And then on the north side, we're working on the utilities, the underground utilities. So the specialty concrete will be beginning probably late this week. It was delayed a little bit due to the release of the design for the splash pad, but everything's moving forward.
Any questions?
Your Honor, I just want to say that I just got back from, we went to the Indiana Association of Cities and Towns. They're called AIM now. They had their annual conference, and part of that presentation is to present awards to communities in Indiana that have made redevelopment improvements and projects similar to our park. And so they brought up these cities and towns and their councils and mayors and redevelopment people and gave them an award, and they played a video of the parks and the projects that they had made. And our park just blows all of them away. I mean, it's going to be such a wonderful gift to the citizens, and I'm just proud to be associated with all of you guys up here and everyone who's been on those committees, and of course Maxwell and Strand, because that's what I saw when I saw those awards being given out, and all the kids that were enjoying that, and just the generations of Lawrenceburgers that can enjoy this park.
Thanks for your help.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
All right.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Weldon, we got 2019 salary ordinance. Should we do that before the budget adoption?
Yes, we can, Your Honor. Okay. And so everyone has in their packets the 2019 budget ordinance, ordinance or resolution for appropriations and tax rates.
Yep. And
so what I would ask for tonight, Your Honor, is a motion to approve this ordinance on the same night that it's presented, which is October the 15th, 2018. And of course, if anyone has any questions, they can ask those before we call for a vote.
Ordinance number? Van? 15-2018? Okay. Any questions? I'd entertain a motion to approve the 2019 salary ordinance. I'm sorry?
It's budget ordinance. Oh, I'm sorry.
Salary ordinance.
Okay. And I'd switch them around. And you're right, Your Honor. I think that we could move that. We could move the salary ordinance. You're right, and I was wrong.
Okay.
Which I've never said that before, but
I know.
It's
I'll take it. Write it down. Joe, get that.
That don't happen.
On YouTube.
Sorry about that. No, we should do the salary ordinance after we do the budget adoption at 7 o'clock, because we have a hearing for that.
Okay.
Thank you for keeping me straight.
All right, then Mr. Lorton.
You don't have one?
You're next,
I
young man.
thought I did.
I'm here on behalf of Lawrence Fight for Cure. We wanted to thank the city of Lawrenceburg, Mayor Milan, specifically also fire, EMS, and police for helping out with the Lawrenceburg Hill Run that we do, the 5K 5-miler. Without your guys' help, there is absolutely no way we could do this, and we so appreciate it. Every year we raise a ton of money to go toward kids that are diagnosed with terminal cancer, and without events like this, we just couldn't do it. I wanted to present a plaque which commemorates your guys' support for Lawrence Fight for Cure going back to 2015. Thanks, man. Thank you. And we've already given, or I did at the beginning of the meeting because they were kind of bulky, some pies that were made by a friend of Lawrence Fight for Cure. I was told not to say it was Gert Koffenberger, but I'm going to anyway. She makes a mean apple pie. So we got those made so that you guys can take them back to the houses, and we just so much appreciate what you guys do for this. It's phenomenal.
You set them next to Snyder.
Well,
half of them are gone. Half of them are gone already.
Well, I've said there were 5 the way they were accounted for. I get that in the treasury minutes, I think. So thank you guys again very much. We
Thanks,
appreciate
Brandon.
it.
Thank you. Thank you.
He does have a gun. Man.
That's good. All right. Okay, next on the list, Mr. Richardson, your Civic Park bond.
Yeah, I've got a so today I want to take time. $1,863.65. That is a 69% decrease in funds from we are a city that budgets yearly based on a source of income that is our current revenue stream allows the city to have the option of a low interest rate of 3.5% to 5%. That's 5% on the high end for the bonding of any project. If the city were to lose revenue sources for any reason, the day-to-day steady at $5,940,000, but our agreement with the LCD has changed from a $500,000 commitment annually to a $1.6 million commitment beginning in 2017 and a 1% increase in subsequent years. And I would add to that, the ground lease payment is the only thing in the Lawrenceburg development agreement that we have. The true our river I'm sure or concern, but to give counsel an understanding of the significance of these drops. We are a city that has used its funds for many philanthropic purposes. Thus far, August 31st, 2018, we've been able to provide revenue sharing in the amount of over $11.4 million. This includes funding various organizations in and around the city. Now, these are noble causes, these are worthwhile causes, and this is all the more reason to make sure that we keep as much liquidity in our account as we can. We want to continue providing for these organizations and taking care of the various parks, playgrounds, and city facilities that are already within our scope of protection. Now, although it is true that we are a fortunate city with extreme wealth, it is important to note that we are a city that offers its citizens and employees benefits that other areas of the country could only dream of. Those benefits are not free of charge. They cost the city to have and to maintain. And as always, the Clerk Treasurer's Office has an open door policy, and we publish our monthly financial reports and claims that Council approves, along with other information. This can all be found on our portion of the website, www.lawrenceburg.in.gov, and I ask concerned citizens to check out this information. Any citizen that would be concerned about the financial stability of Lawrenceburg and the financial future of Lawrenceburg to come to my office, and I'd be happy to show you anything you'd like to see. Now, today we have before us an option to bond the Civic Park for $6 million. This would assist in keeping liquidity in our money market accounts, as well as getting a much-needed bond rating. If you go to the second page of the handout I passed out, and I'll pass this out to you gentlemen as well. And one old one too, so he's got it. I'm going to pass these down. This is a pretty interesting graph we've put together. It's very simple, but you can see the sharp decline from 2009 to 2017. Now, this is the total of all riverboat gaming revenue. And these totals include the Riverboat Fund as well as the MDF Fund. There has been a drop of, again, $34,402,863.65 since 2009. 69% drop in funds. The spike in loss between 2013 and 2014 is due to multiple racinos and casinos opening in Ohio. Now, again, I put emphasis on that because the problem is a lot of what happens with this riverboat gaming revenue is completely out of our control. It is an unreliable, unsustainable source of income. The spike in loss between the last point between 2014 and 2017, I wanted to note the amount of loss there as $5,984,256.67. That's a 28% drop in funds from 14 to 17. Last page of that handout are our bonding options. From a clerk treasurer's standpoint, that includes my accountant, that includes my staff, we've looked at this. We think that there's two reasons that we need to have a Civic Park bond, and we would ask you to support us on this. This is going to assist, number one, in creating better liquidity in our money market accounts by retaining current investments and drawing interest on those. Taking them into account our current trends, it is foreseeable yields could climb as high as the 4% mark. This will assist, number two, in creating a bond rating for the city of Lawrenceburg to assist in securing our city's future, making sure we have a rating when the time comes that we will need to utilize the rating. And again, I would go back and I would say that if you extrapolate it out, if you look at the current trends, I would say at some point the city of Lawrenceburg will need to have a bond rating. We're going to need to have some debt. Now would be a good time for the city of Lawrenceburg to consider obtaining some debt. Our 20-year option, and this is at a 5%. I wanted to be transparent as possible with you guys, so I used the high-end number of 5%. Your interest expense for 20 years for $6 million would be $3,541,83. 25-year option, $6 million. Your interest expense is shown there, $4,585,000, and you have your totals as well. As far as I'm concerned, it is worth the city looking into this option so that, again, we can create ourselves a bond rating and we can keep liquidity in our accounts. Payment total would be approximately $477,000 per year annually for the 20-year option, again with a 5% interest rate. Now, interest rate projections there, again, they're on the high end. We could get as low as 3.5. 25-year option, that would put your yearly payment $415,000. $15 at the end. Payments would come. I would ask that the Redevelopment Commission would give us your TIF dollars to go toward these payments. That's how we utilize TIF, for the benefit of the people, for the benefit of Lawrenceburg. And I would add this to the end here. There's been a lot of talk of, well, what would we do with schools? Well, I can assure you of one thing, and I think everybody sitting out here knows this. The city of Lawrenceburg has never turned a blind eye to the schools. Not any of them. Anything they need, they can come. We'll try to get it for them. We'll try to work out anything we can. But I don't think we need to take our TIF dollars and give them all to the school when we can work with the school to figure out what it is that the school needs that we can help them obtain. So again, I would ask that the TIF dollars be committed to this project, to this bonding, so that we can get what this city needs. And I would also ask that you just at least consider the option of bonding this project out.
Just so you know, the amount of TIF we take in currently today is about $358,000 a year.
That's a good point, Kelly. It is $358,000 a year. And then on top of that, with the current projections from the Flaherty and Collins project, which you all voted to move forward and just pay $15 million for, that is a guaranteed income of $300,000.
I got a few other questions. For the park itself, we're not generating no TIF money.
That's
because
correct.
It's city owned. All right, so we have to get from the other TIF money, from the other parts.
Yes.
What about the area around the park that we're putting in, those buildings there? Can we include that into our TIF area?
Yes.
TIF can be redefined.
So we could get TIF money from those buildings, because there's going to be some high-cost buildings with restaurants and going in there.
And Tony, I would actually conjecture that if you look at our TIF area map, Brian, you could correct me if I'm wrong in this, but I think the TIF area actually includes that. It's almost like an L shape throughout the downtown area.
It includes it minus the Thomas Scudder property.
Okay.
Well, that's one that we would really need to include, because that's going to be
I understand it. We can use TIF funds to help develop the property, but we would have to expand the map in order to receive TIF revenue.
Okay, so that would be in redevelopment to expand the map, or is it starting council?
We would create an economic development commission and redefine our TIF area as a joint project with council and redevelopment.
Well, I would like to do that, to expand it to include the lots that we just tore the buildings down in, and make sure across the street at the end row house, because we can draw whatever we want there, and that way we can get more TIF money in to help pay for this.
Yeah, and I just attended a training on TIF and the changes to TIF, and just to support what Richard was saying, the evidence shows, and we're actually going to bring those same folks in to talk to you guys so you can hear from them, not me, but the evidence shows that it does not impact the schools at all.
No.
There's a change in 2009, and then there's a further change in 2019 that takes that completely out of the way that the schools do their capital budget. Has been removed from their general fund, and so it's zero impact to the schools, but a positive impact to the entire community, and that presentation will be available to everyone, council, redevelopment, and the public.
We'll do a joint work session for that with redevelopment and council members, and it'll of course be a work session. Anybody can be able to come and hopefully understand a little bit more about TIF and get your questions answered, because I'm sure everybody has some questions.
I attended a TIF meeting at Ivy Tech a week and a half ago. Real good meeting. And it told about the importance of TIF and the schools needing that money. So there's two sides to this TIF argument, TIF conversation. Our school system has lost over $500,000. And the reason why they lost that money coming in was because we had a power plant shut down. Now, when my whole point before is let's just don't forget about our school system. I realize that we do help them, but economic development is what happens now, not 30 years from now. So I'm willing to work with this, but I'm not a big fan. We can't leave the schools out of this, because here's the other thing I learned from that information. When people want to come to Lawrenceburg, the first question they're going to ask, if we're going to build these homes, if we're going to have this 150 unit apartment over here and all the other things, the factories and things that want to come here, they want to know how good a school system we got. That's probably the first question that goes through anybody's mind when they come here. So before, when we did the apartment, I made the comment, to be determined later. We'll talk about this TIF, but I want some of it because the school can regroup some of it.
We have the option, Paul, to take less TIF. You don't have to take 100%. We could take 90% TIF and leave 10% TIF, just as it normally is. I just want to make sure that when we're talking about this comes up in a different conversation. It should come up in a... You just made one heck of a speech, and I've been sitting in these meetings for 10 years, and that's the best one I heard. So I thought you did a heck of a job, and I'm going to back this somehow or another, but I have a hard time with paying this interest money. We just look at you're securing the future.
Well, I'll be gone in 30 years, and I won't know whether we made a good move or a mistake.
My son's 7 years old. I got to think about my son
and my daughter and your kids and everything. But
Satch, think of it this way: right now, that property where that park is, it's to the school. It's worth zero because it belongs to the city. So we pay no tax on it. So they don't get 1% share of anything. And without that park, we're not going to get the buildings around it, the restaurants. Now, you can get part of that TIF from those buildings and those restaurants to go to the school. So if you don't do anything with this and TIF it out and get this park done, the schools get zero.
Well, what I'm really
makes more sense. We just turned a $6 million project into, I'm going to say 9, whatever the number is. To me, that's a whole lot better than turning a $30 million or $15 million into a 22. And we got a bond rating a little bit cheaper.
I agree with you.
Y'all feel like you need a bond rating, that's fine, but I don't know how that bond rating works, but I guarantee you that my credit rating can be ruined in about an hour. So
that's why it's important that council remember fiscal responsibility too, though. Caution
everybody thinking that when we get a bond rating in 2018, it's going to be the same in 2025.
Well, that would be up to council to continue the fiscal responsibility that they should. And I think you have the desire to do that, Paul. But one thing that I would add about this whole conversation is that what I'm asking council to do tonight is to consider a $6 million bond. Now, I would then further, because that's all you can consider, now we have to swing it over to the Redevelopment Commission. Redevelopment Commission has the authority over the TIF dollars. Now, that's another wheelhouse. So I'm asking you tonight to commit to the $6 million bond, and we could look at various options. I gave you 2 options. I gave you a 20-year and a 25-year. In my personal recommendation, I'd recommend the 20-year. It's a little bit cheaper on the interest. But then we would kick that over to the Redevelopment Commission, and that's where a discussion about where the TIF dollars would be utilized would take place. So at that point, we would have the Redevelopment Commission convene, or at their next meeting, take this up for discussion there. But tonight I am asking for the $6 million. I'm recommending the 20-year option Civic Park bond.
So what we'll need a motion on is to approve the going forward.
Let me ask
go ahead. I'm sorry,
ask another question. What if we don't TIF or don't bond out all $6 million? Did you come up with any figures, like if we do $4 million, pay $2?
Yeah, that's an option, Tony. I don't have the figures for that. No.
Well, I'm just wondering what difference it would make on the interest for us.
Here's what I'd like to know. If you pay anything, any amount, how much interest are we losing on our CDs or whatever?
You know, Mel, that's a good point. Tom, can you come to the podium, please? Tom Palmer, I work with him quite a bit at U.S. Bank.
We're going to have to put a recess on this to do the public hearing, or the budget adoption.
Tom, hold on a minute.
Sorry. We advertised the budget adoption for 7 o'clock, so we're going to have to do that and then follow it, we do the salary ordinance after we get done with this discussion on the Civic Park bond. So we'll recess at 7:01 right now. Okay, tonight is budget adoption night. We've advertised. We've had our workshop. You guys have had a chance to review, ask questions. What I'm asking for is we got a ordinance number. Ordinance number.
Suzanne, what's our number going to be?
15.
16 or 15?
15 or 16,
15.
since we didn't do the other one.
15.
15.
15, and then we'll use 16.
Yeah. We'll do 15-2018. So what I needed is a motion to approve tonight the 2019 salary ordinance on the first reading.
Now, is this the salary ordinance or the?
Or I'm sorry, not salary ordinance, budget. Budget.
The budget.
I'm
Budget
moving the
note.
budget.
Got a motion to approve the budget? Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, guys. Okay, you want to go back into the, and then we can come back and hit the salary ordinance after.
And then back to where we were at. Tom Palmer.
Thank you, Council, Your Honor. What was the question?
How much money can we save by paying so much cash compared to the interest that we would have saved off that cash to interest that we're going to pay for the loan?
It's a pretty loaded question. If you're wanting to know what current rates are on investments and allowable investments that we can get today, we're averaging 2.7 to 2.8%. 2 years ago, we were at 1%. So that's twofold in over 2 years. So you're looking at bonding something for, I mean, whether it's 10, 20, 25 years or whatnot, if you can get a fixed rate for that, I would say that we're going to be able to beat those interest rates in the near future. Bonding is very important. You want to borrow funds, as any client, when you don't need the funds. That's how you make money and keep flexibility, not only liquidity, but it makes a lot of sense. And you're probably never going to be in better shape to get a better rating. I think it makes a ton of sense whether you do some of it or all of it. But, I mean, you know, you're looking at total investable assets. What's your total investable asset number, million-wise?
I'd have to look, Tom. I don't know offhand.
I mean, I know where 32 million of it is, and it's averaging almost $700,000 a year.
Yeah, in 2017, we did generate off of the bank interest, off of the interest revenue from the various investments that we hold as a city. We generated $771,000 plus of revenue.
Okay, so just answer me this. Is it best for us to borrow all $6 million, or should we do half and half, 4 to 2, or?
My opinion?
Yep.
Okay. If it wasn't for the, you know, the $15 million transaction a few weeks ago.
That's not done yet.
True.
That could be tiffed.
True. It may have made more sense to produce an income. But I would go for the full amount, absolutely. And I would look into even having callable bonds. And that's the ultimate flexibility. If they're callable, you can pay it off at any time you want to. So you have liquidity now. And one of the things that Richard's really worked on creating liquidity with is basically you take that $32 million divided up over 24 months, which is mostly where you're allowed to invest and where it makes the most sense right now with the yield curve where it's at. You know, your 10-year bonds trading at 3.2. We're getting 2.8 on 2 years. So
makes more sense to pay it off instead of investing.
We don't know where interest rates are going to go. That's why the market got spooked last week. You know, you had 10-year jump, 20 basis points. But it makes a lot of sense. If it's callable, you can always pay it off. It might be, you might be paying a little bit now to get a little bit of a credit rating, but you still have that flexibility.
I think that gives flexibility to future administrations as well. We're not landlocking anybody into anything to make them callable. Then, you know, things could be changed.
You take $6 million and pay for it, you took all the liquidity and all the flexibility out of any changes going forward. You can always pay it off.
I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Okay, my next question, that park, is it coming in at 6 million, or has it gone over, or will it hit? Where'd she go? She's gone.
They left, but every time we ask them, Kelly, I'll let you say this.
It's about, right now, I think they're at 6.4, but that includes the contingencies, okay?
Okay.
You know, contingencies that don't get used or whatever, it would be down or below the 6 million.
I think they've been doing pretty good on watching things.
It looks like it to me.
Yeah.
Well, what this does is it saves 6 million in cash. Correct.
Yes, sir.
Ready for a motion, Your Honor?
The motion would be, let me phrase the motion. Need a motion to approve going forward with a bond of $60 million for the Civic Park with a favorable going to redevelopment, provided we can utilize TIF to pay for it.
Moved.
Second?
100% TIF to pay for it.
For this, yeah. We're not talking about down the street.
Nothing done the park.
I don't know.
Because this isn't
Your Honor.
generating TIF.
I was going to say, this isn't generating
No,
TIF.
so this isn't, so you're not, you wouldn't be able to.
This is what the convention center.
Exactly, yeah.
But if we redistrict our TIF by the park and bring those buildings in, it will be bringing in TIF money.
Yes, but you know, that is going to be nothing compared to what down the streets bring.
Oh, true, but it's still going to be
What
something
I'm
to go
saying,
towards
though, is
this.
what I think Paul was going about, you know, with the schools part of it.
Hold on to that.
But this isn't generating TIF. The bond for this 6 million will not generate
Right,
TIF.
none.
Mayor,
So,
if I may.
Yeah.
I don't believe current TIF revenues will cover this expenditure.
No. You're
So can we leave it open that there might have to be some shared funding mechanism until TIF revenues reach that level? And it's also suggested not to commit 100% of TIF revenues.
We're just moving along, Mayor.
So we may want to, I'm just,
Well, Brian, to that point, that's a great point. I think maybe we're a little off here on track. I think that what we need to do tonight in council is make a motion that we move forward with bonding $6 million for the Civic Park, and then redevelopment would then need to take up that cross to bear, so to speak. I'd look at you, Tony, or Brian, in the redevelopment commission to say what you would want to put forward to it, because ultimately, again, the redevelopment commission controls those TIF dollars, so you would have a large say in that as the redevelopment commission. I don't know the council would so much need to I mean, if you wanted to throw in a favorable opinion to use TIF, 100% of the TIF dollars for it, I suppose you could, but I think ultimately that would be a discussion for redevelopment. It'd also be something we'd want to look at the finances total for that when it comes to redevelopment, make sure that the redevelopment commission is comfortable with what they need to do, or what they would like to do.
because right now they're using that TIF money for nothing. Correct?
Pardon me?
You're not utilizing any of the TIF money right now.
That's correct. I have no problem conceptually with what we're talking about. I just don't know that there's enough in there, number one. Number two, maybe not committing 100%. And number three, if there's not enough, then we'd have to find an alternate revenue stream to make the difference up. Just so we're all on the same page.
Okay. All right. So the motion would be for us as the council, just to move forward with the approval of bonding this park out at $6 million and passing it on to favorable.
So moved.
For 20 years.
Second.
For a 20-year. You're recommending 20
I'm recommending
years.
20 years.
For a 20-year bond.
You got first and second.
Who's the first? Second?
I seconded.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. I think it's
Thank you,
very
gentlemen. I
wise.
appreciate it.
And just, Richard, great job, but
Always a but.
Well, and I think you'll be okay with what I'm getting ready to say.
First time it ever done.
Yeah. Unreliable. Try not to use that boat. I'm in the rental business and the banking business and everything else. That boat has made a payment to us on time for the last 20 years. So.
Oh, sir, we're going to get that $5,900,000.
All I'm saying
sure,
is please don't call the boat, and I don't think you meant to.
No. And I would clarify that.
Okay.
The boat is not
I don't want anybody
unreliable.
walking away from here thinking that they've been unreliable.
However, the true up, the wagering, the admissions, that's all up in the air as far as what you're going to get. I mean, that's dependent upon how the boat does. The boat does well, we do well. The boat doesn't do well, we don't do well. But we budget based on a city out of those funds.
Which should even out before long with our event center on the upswing, which
Yeah,
puts
and I
more
would
over
add
there.
this too. I know that Hollywood Casino is constantly trying to innovate, bringing new things in. I understand they have a restaurant that's going to be opening. So those are all things that could help. But I would go back, and again, I would just highlight the 2013 to 2014 significant drop that took place there, because that's what I kind of mean when I say unreliable. The amount of funding coming in is it could change.
Well,
There's a lot of variance to it.
I just don't want anybody over there thinking we think they're unreliable.
No, they're reliable people. They're very nice people.
Well, we're doing. Thank you. Good job.
All right. Thanks, Richard. Next item would be 2019 salary ordinance we need to approve. Ordinance number 16-2018. I would entertain a motion. This is not the salary ordinance from last meeting. That's under old business. That's the amendment to the salary ordinance.
This is the lineman or not?
No, this is not.
New one.
This is the salary ordinance for 2019.
All right.
Okay?
Gotcha.
So I entertain a motion to approve the 2019 salary ordinance tonight upon a vote.
No, I don't have it, Mayor.
I've got it.
I don't have it.
I don't have it either.
And deduct this from your pay.
Any of us got it. Unless it was in the last packet.
We had, and that's my fault, we had two versions because one contained the amendment that we're gonna have to vote on under old business and the other one didn't. So this one does have the amended position of telecommunications director. And so that will be up for second vote during old business.
So this one does have the?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Well, then we can't, that's not the one we want.
Well, we don't, yeah, okay.
Right?
Yeah. I think it is.
We
need to vote on that position itself.
Right, I thought the amended is its own. That gets added to that.
That gets added to the current salary ordinance, but the telecommunications director is approved for 2019 already. Utility Service Board has already approved that. So I got two versions, but this version is the appropriate version. The ordinance vote under old business yesterday.
I have an amended one here, 12/2018.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And just to clarify for everybody, and I created this confusion because I got two versions. In old business, we're doing the second vote to amend the 2018 salary ordinance to put in the telecommunications director position. But the reason we have to do that is because it wasn't in the original one. So it's amending it. This 2019 salary ordinance has the telecommunications director in it because it was already approved by the Utility Service Board. This is the one, and I'm sorry, Your Honor, and sorry, Council. I just had two versions, so I didn't hand them out. But this is the salary ordinance with all the positions. The only difference between two versions, I had one didn't have the telecommunications director, but that's already been approved by Utility Service Board. So just take a second and.
Position was approved.
Yes, sir, Your Honor. And so that's my fault once again, twice in one meeting.
That's all right. No, there's confusion. All right. But yes, we can approve the 2019 salary ordinance as you have in front of you. Take a moment to take a look at that. The hourly rates are just what was voted on, or per the union contract.
While everybody's looking at that, I had a question. Since the EMS director is going to be retiring in the spring, does the Board of Works have any plans of like posting that soon so someone can start shadowing him? Because they like scheduling, billing, ordering, so they can know what they're going to be doing.
Good question. Well, what'd you say? No.
It's still 18.
It's still 18.
16-2018.
I'm sorry, Aaron. Rephrase that, please.
Oh, since the EMS director is going to be retiring in the spring, is the Board of Works considering posting that early? Because that's only like 5-6 months away, so they can, start like learning about the billing and different, scheduling, billing statistics.
But Director Mills and I have talked about that.
Yeah.
And we didn't have an exact date.
Okay.
So that's why we haven't really done that. But you're right.
Okay.
It does need to be something sooner than as soon as we get a date.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree. That answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions on here? Now I'll entertain a motion then to approve salary ordinance for 2019, which is ordinance number 16-2018.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Okay, that's all I've got under new business. Anyone got anything else up here to add under new business? If not, we got old business is Dell. We got the salary ordinance amendment for the salary for 2018 salary.
Yes, sir, Your Honor. And again, apologies for mixing those two up. The vote before council right now is the second vote on amending the 2018 salary ordinance to include the position of telecommunications director. As you'll recall, that ordinance passed by a majority motion of 4-1. However, it was not a unanimous approval, and so it has to be presented at two separate meetings. So we're just asking for a vote to approve the amendment to include telecommunications director for 2018.
What number was that one?
Well, there's a little confusion with that one because we had labeled it 12.
Okay.
But that's already an ordinance. I think you were going off a previous amended, like you were using that one as the amended. So we're going to number it 17.
17?
That would be the next one.
Okay, but this isn't an amendment to the...
It actually says 12 on here, an amendment to ordinance 12.
Okay.
And then we read it as 12. It's not.
It's not 12.
It's not 12. It should be 17. That would be the next one.
All right. Everybody understand that?
Yes. Gotcha.
So for what we're going to approve tonight, or asking for a motion to approve tonight, is the salary ordinance amendment to 2018 salary ordinance, which is number 17-2018. If I could get a motion to approve that.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed?
Nay.
Roll call, please.
Councilperson Tony Abbott?
Nay.
Councilperson Aaron Cook?
Yes.
Councilperson Mel Davis?
Yes.
Councilperson Randy Abner?
Yes.
Councilperson Paul Seymour Jr.?
Yes.
Okay, motion approved, 4-1. Thank you. Any other old business up here on the table?
I got a little bit.
Yes.
My mom and dad got something in the mail the other day, and I know we shouldn't pay attention to that kind of stuff, but it concerns me because it seems like it's being taken to another level. We're up here trying to do the best we can. We've got an election coming up, and what I'm afraid of is we're going to have a year full of this nonsense, because I don't know if anybody out there read what was sent, but I know most of it was just flat out blatant lies or ignorance of printing things that aren't even true. My question to council is, I don't want to sit here the next year and hear all these things. So my question is, I would like for us to hire a private investigator to find out who's putting this stuff out there, because if you're not going to put your name on something and it's going to be belligerent lies and you're going to get the older people all worked up, I want to know who it is. I want to know if it's employees of ours. I want to know who it is that might be running, whatever. I just feel like it's important that we don't mess around with this. I know that in the past, we sit back and we listen to it and we think, nobody pays any attention to it. People pay attention to it, guys, and it's blatant lies. So I personally don't know where this conversation will go, but I don't know how you guys feel, but I just wanted to bring it up.
I agree, Paul. I think if someone's going to make accusations and put innuendos out, I think they ought to be man or woman enough to stand up and say, I did it. And I think that we need to maybe find out who it was.
Well, it was mailed out. It went to current residents. I don't know how many, but
I personally didn't get it, but I heard a little bit about it.
So, I mean,
I think they know who the author is. It says on there, Kelly lies. That's what that said. Isn't that right, people? Everybody seen it? It's the
I
author
don't
is
know.
Kelly lies.
I
think
don't know,
that was
Paul.
directed at me.
Well, maybe
Excuse me?
Maybe Paul's making enough money between the city and LCD, he should hire the private investigator himself. I'm kind of wishing I would have hired one when all the texts went out about Tyler.
Okay.
Anyway,
All right. I
go
don't know
ahead.
about hiring a private detective. I mean, you know the people in your district. I mean, you know the people in this town. They know you. They know what you're like and what you would do and what you don't do. And anybody that puts out things like that without their name on it, they're spineless. And I say 85% of the people that read this say it's no good. It's full of lies because they can't sign it.
Well, for Dell, I mean, I don't think you're allowed to use city money for that anyway, are you, Dell? I mean,
To hire a private
Yeah.
investigator, I don't know.
Better question is any of it true? I mean, can we take your word, Paul, to be the word?
If it was true, don't you think they'd sign their name?
Without a doubt, none of it was true.
And if they're going to make innuendos, and let them have enough courage to stand up and say, I think this, or I think that, or you're this, or you're that. If they don't have enough courage to do it, then maybe they ought to go sit in the can for about 2 weeks down there and see Judge Humphrey. That's my opinion.
Well, the shame of everything is everybody, nobody knows how difficult these jobs are until you're doing it, right? I mean, and are you going to make mistakes? You certainly are. But I'll tell you what, I will put the first 3 years what you guys have accomplished and we've accomplished up here against a lot of administrations. So I think you need to be proud of that. And you know what? We can't stop this stuff from going on. It's Lawrenceburg. That's what happens here. There's jealousy, there's ignorance, there's cowards. And I think whoever wrote this falls into all three categories, because I certainly would sign my name to anything that I put out. And I would hope that everybody else would too. So anyway, but we appreciate the rhetoric. I mean, we got to read something other than the Register. Right, Joe? Daggone it.
Please, Joe, you sign your articles. I appreciate it.
You better start signing those articles, yeah. So, anyway, any other old business? Thank you.
Well, can I make a motion?
Yeah, sure.
I'd like to make a motion, we hire a private investigator to look into this letter that was printed.
We're not allowed to do that.
Second, then I'm good with it.
We're not allowed to do it.
I don't know if you are allowed, or I don't know if you know.
I don't know.
If we're allowed to use.
I can look into it.
Well, how about I add this to my motion? If we're allowed to do it, we do it. If we aren't, we aren't. But I'd like to make a motion for Dale to look into it. And before he does this and looks into it, I'd also like to know what the guys think, because if you guys aren't willing to do it, we don't need him looking into it.
I think
I just don't know. I don't know where you're going to draw the line. It's going to happen a lot more.
I'm going to tell you what I hope to do is I hope to let people know that we're a little bit serious and we're not going to sit back and be blatantly lied about and criminal things printed about us when there's just absolutely no truth to it at all.
But you got to come to expect that when you're a politician, it's going to happen. When you walk out your door, you did something wrong before you took the first step.
Tony,
That's
I
just
think
part
that
of it,
was
Paul.
Probably one of the worst things I've seen in the 10 years I've been watching this. I just can't believe that people would get together, put bulk mail together, and mail it out directly to households.
They will.
What's next? What's next?
I understand your feelings on it, but
Well, I made a motion. If there ain't no support for it, I'm all right with it.
I'll second it.
Okay, we got a motion and a second, provided we're legally allowed to do this.
Right.
I personally.
Can I get a vote? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Roll call.
Councilperson Tony Abbott.
Nay.
Councilperson Aaron Cook.
No.
Yes.
Councilperson Mel Davis. Councilperson Randy Abner.
Yes.
Councilperson Paul Seymour Jr.
Yes.
What was that vote again? Yes?
3-2.
You were a yes.
They were no's.
No, yes.
David, what's a private investigator cost?
Motion carries 3-2 if indeed it's deemed allowable. All right. Any other old business?
Yeah.
Too much?
Yes, I do, Mayor.
Yes, I'm sorry, Aaron.
I was wondering if Dell checked on the number of chickens you're allowed to have in the city. I mean, we brought that at the last meeting.
We said no chickens.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I did that to you.
Okay. You can text that to me if you find that. And then the other one is, I hear this like on a bi-weekly basis, how the process of people getting in the Edinburgh works. I hear people are being skipped, other people go straight in. I mean, what's the process so I can tell people that?
I can tell you what the process is because Judy is very precise. She don't want to do anything wrong.
Yeah.
She has a list. That list was generated by the previous management company. The list has been added to. When people get added to it, they go to the bottom of the list, of course. Okay. When a call is made, there's every effort to call every number that is on their application form. Okay. In fact, she came to me the other day and said, "Hey, I wasn't able to get a hold of this person. The phone number was no longer in service. Should I send a letter?" Well, it's responsibility. It says on the application, it's responsibility of the person to update their application if they move or they change their phone number. So I told her the other day, and I don't know how soon how recent you were talking about, that she should just follow the list. Keep following the list until she gets a hold of the person, that is up next. So that's the way it's done.
Okay. I'll see if this lady changed her number or whatever the last
Fine.
time. Okay.
Yes. But they're supposed to make them aware if they have a different phone number or a different address.
Okay.
So, that answer your question?
Yeah. Thank you.
Anything else?
Nope. That's
Okay.
it.
Any other old business? Okay, I'll entertain comments from the audience. Yes, sir.
To council, actually to Mr. Richardson first, redevelopment earlier in your conversation, I'm on redevelopment, so I'm sorry, Dennis Hutchins, 291 East Center. We pretty much work in tandem with council. We're independent, but we pretty much see eye to eye We do large projects that needs our support, and it's vice versa. So the other thing is, to all council members, on property taxes, the city needs to be careful. We're taking some property back shortly. Adele has given us an explanation that I'm still not certain when we're taking back the Davis properties, but I know we're taking them back. Without taxes, the city needs to get out of the rental business, out of the property business, because all tax base is based on ownership. People pay taxes. So the same thing applies to the properties that we acquired with much diligence around the Civic Park. All of that, we have to be very careful not to be into the rental business there. We need to be in the ownership business so they pay taxes. I mean, seriously, there's a lot of property around the Civic Park, and without that being property that's sold, we want businesses in there, there's no question. But we have to make sure we get out of the rental business and out of the property business, because our tax base is tight. It's critical that we do that. And if you want to talk about TIF, you can't generate TIF funds if we don't have ownership on properties. That's a reality. And you guys need to pay attention to it, because otherwise the redevelopment commission can't really do their job. And they won't have any funds to pay back out of TIF dollars. And by the way, Paul, the conference that Paul went to, that the state of Indiana just conducted at the Ivy Tech, was a great conference. I was ill that day and I didn't go, but I got the booklet. And the booklet was phenomenal, just phenomenal. Have you guys seen it?
Not yet.
I'm going to ask Brian for permission to have Kelly, she has her book, make a copy for redevelopment for our next meeting for all the members to have. The TIF explanation in there is second to none. It's almost idiot-proof because I got it right away. And seriously, it's a good thing and these are based on current state laws as of September of this year. So they're all germane and very important. But again, ownership has got to be the key here for tax base. And if you talk to any of the legislatures in the state of Indiana, they're going to tell you that over and over and over. So that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Can I just get the amount of the salary ordinance that was passed?
Come up to so we can get you on tape here, Mike.
Can you tell me the amount of the salary ordinance?
The total amount?
Yeah, that you passed tonight for 2019.
There's no total because it's just hourly rates.
Oh, but no total?
Copy of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You want a copy of it?
Yeah, I'll get a copy.
Okay.
We'll have it on the website tomorrow too. I'll have it scanned in and we'll upload it.
Bob?
Kelly?
Yes.
I'm Bob Reibold. I was mentioned in that letter, and I was just giving away food. Olin didn't reimburse me. We didn't ask him to reimburse. We even supplied dinner for their Lyman Rodeo on Thursday night. He asked me if the guys could stop over, and I said, that's not a problem. And let me tell you, the guys that were in the Lyman Rodeo and all that stuff, and the Cowboys, I call them, the most appreciative group of people I've ever seen. They offered to pay. I said we didn't. So, again, he didn't reimburse me because we didn't ask for it. It was just myself, JTM offering to help the community like we'll do anything else. That's just what I wanted to make. So whoever wrote the letter, there you go. Thanks.
You addressed it. See, you're looking me right in the eyes.
No, they said that I needed to be reimbursed, and I didn't want reimbursed. There was nothing ever talked about me charging.
Okay, any other comments from the audience? Okay.
I'd like to make one more comment.
Yes, sir.
I've seen Mr. Rybolt in this community. I can't even count how many times that he's donated his time, food, and effort to, I can't even start mentioning to the causes. Good job.
He's donated at the Adult Center for different events for different groups too as well before.
The Fall Fest stuff we had over there invited us all over to eat over at your house there in your garage, so.
One guy showed up and said, where's the food? And we were out. I thought you were having food. No, I don't got money. Get your car and drive down. But no, it's our pleasure. We enjoy doing it.
All right, thank you, Bob.
We appreciate it, Bob. Thank you.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the claims, but before you get the motion, we've got one additional claim that came in this morning that we'd like to pay out on this voucher. It's for painting of one of the apartments over at Edinburgh. And we got the invoice. It's additional. It's $1,500. It was done for all the ceilings and the repairing the walls and painting all the walls in the hall. So I'd like to add that to the claims. So now I'll entertain a motion to approve the claims. So moved. Second?
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to adjourn. Second? Second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, everybody. Have a safe trip home.
Sorry about that. Well, Jenny gave me two versions.
As soon as get me to the end of the week.
Well, I think what we ought to do.
I can have it up by Friday. I did. That's approved. Signature, no. That's passed. That's passed.